Hey you guys, it's Kayla here with TBF Diagnostic. Today I am going to go over this Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendment application for certification. This is the CLIA lab application. Keep in mind, I am in Illinois, and disclaimer, I'm not advising anybody or telling anybody what to put on their CLIA application. I am merely showing you what I did. With that being said, let's get started. General information, top left, is my first time, so I put initial application, anticipated date, start date. If any other boxes applies to your company, put a check mark near those, add the effective date. To the right of that is a CLIA identification number. Being it was my initial application, as it says underneath, if it's an initial application, leave blank. They'll assign a number. Your facility name is your business name. What did you register with the state? Put that exact name in your facility name. Federal tax identification number is your EIN number. Write that in there. Email address. Write that in there. If you want to receive future notification via email, put a checkbox. Telephone number and fax. I will tell you guys, for fax, I did not have one. So the company that I am using is eFax. I am not taking away from any other company that does online faxing because I don't know them. And I'm not promoting eFax. They're not paying me. I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. The next box says facility address. So this is your physical location. Put your address in there. If your physical address is different than your mailing address or your billing address, you're going to add that to the side box on the right. The send fee coupon to this address, you are going to pick one, whether it is a physical address, mailing address, or corporate. Same thing for the send certificate to this address. If you are a corporation, fill out that information. You will need the name of your director, your laboratory director's phone number, and their credentials. Now, in another video, I have already went over it, but I'll post it so it could be newer. I'll go over the types of CLIA certificates and qualifications or requirements for your director. Okay. Now, here, part 2 is asking, what type of certificate are you requesting? To what I know, the most common for individuals who are starting out with their sole business, myself, certificate waiver is the one I picked. Now, the next one is a provider perform microscopic procedures, which is PPM. Usually those are found in provider offices. And there are other options, so if any of those apply to you, put a check mark near that box. 3, types of laboratories. Look over this list. If any of those apply to your company, put a check mark in that box. Now, if you look here, number 19 says mobile laboratory. If that is what yours is, check that box. Home health agency is there, check that box if that applies to you. Independent, number 15, or other, if you don't see your listed category or type of laboratory, and write it in. You must put your laboratory hours. So if your hours are the times that people can reach you and or you're doing business. So if you're not doing business for 24/7, do not click there. I didn't. I did put my business hours, whether they were 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, and I clarified which ones or what dates you can reach me Sunday through Saturday. 5, multiple sites. If you're applying for a single site CLIA certificate to cover multiple locations, and the answer is no, you're going to click no or put a check mark in no, and you're going to skip this entire section and go down to section 6. If the answer is yes, you are going to cover multiple testing locations. You have to pick 1, 2, or 3. So put a check mark in yes and thoroughly read what 1, 2, or 3 says, because one of them is going to be applicable to your facility. When you are operating multiple laboratory companies or hospital, that information is going to go down here and the test performed over here. Okay, if that does not apply to you and you click no, remember you go down to 6. If you click yes, you have to click a box in 1, 2, or 3. And when 1 applies to you, please check no in the other 2. I clicked yes in number 1, no for number 2, no for number 3. Types of tests. Okay, so I know a lot of people are asking about this, right? So these are the tests. They gave you an example. These are the tests that you're going to be performing mobilely or in your office. Okay, so this is what people get confused about, and they have a lot of questions. Well, what tests should I do? Well, what's your company? What's your niche? What are you doing? You know, when you apply for a CLIA license, this is a real life business that you're running. Is just not something to have and hang on your wall, right? So if you were doing COVID tests, you would get all the information from a company that you would purchase your devices from, to get the manufacturer's name, the test name, and how it's going to be, or what it's going to be analyzing. Okay, so like example, COVID, and to analyze the test, you have like a COVID-19 PCR, right? Then the test name is like SARS, right? And then the manufacturer is who you're buying it from. So an example of some that I picked were a cholesterol test for the test name of a lipid panel, and the manufacturer is Tech. Also blood sugar for a glucose test, and the manufacturer was HemoQ. Now underneath there, it says estimated total annual tests. What is your volume? What do you think? 100, 200, 300. Put a number in there. Now, it says that next box, check if no wave tests are going to be performed. So when you answered your question up here, and you're looking to do a single sole CLIA license, you're going to have a wave license. So do not check that box, because you're going to do wave tests, okay? Well, that's what I did. Again, I'm not advising anyone. Let me just tell you what I did. PPM, remember I said that that was in the provider's office. So if you are outside of a provider's office, this does not pertain to you, and skip down to the next section. If you're in a provider's office or a laboratory, standing laboratory that has the appropriate devices and test machines, go ahead and read that and figure out which one you should check. And then underneath there, you have the estimated total annual tests. You have to write a number in there. This says check if no PPM tests are to be performed. That applies if you're having like a waiver. So check the box. Okay. If you need additional space, you see what to do. Now, this is for non-wave testing. I am applying for a wave CLIA test certificate. So this section does not apply to me. So I skipped it. Okay, so this section here, again, does not apply to me. So I skipped it. This section, figure out which one applies to your facility, your company. Is it a non-for-profit, a for-profit, or a government entity? Mine is a for-profit, so I check the box of number 04. Answer the questions. Does your facility have full or a partial or full ownership by a foreign entity or foreign government? Yes or no? Answer the question. Mine does not. I pressed no, click no, and kept going. So now, this pertains to other directors who have affiliation with other labs. There's a certain amount of labs directors can have their names on their paperwork. If this does pertain to your director, make sure you know how many laboratories they're affiliated with, what paperwork they're on, how many paperwork their name is on, because you could get denied. This is important to read before printing the name of the director of the laboratory, printing the name of the owner of the laboratory, and a signature of either or both. And I'm gonna be honest, I am the owner and I am the director. But if you have two separate names here, one signs first, / then the director. So owner signature first / director signature. Sign it in ink or use a secure electronic signature. Date it. Done. 5 pages, okay? The rest of this is for your information. This is for your information. It explains a lot more than I did. So if you have questions, just go down and look. This is 10 pages. It explains a whole lot more than I did. Okay, so hopefully that helped at least one person. If you have any questions, put them down below. Have a wonderful day.